Hello folks, this is Ramya and I wanted to share with you the recipe for this Indian dish called Lasooni Palak, which is garlic flavoured spinach. So let's look at the ingredients that is needed to make this Lasooni Palak. We need spinach, 500 grams. I've used fresh spinach, washed and drained. You can use frozen if you wish to. Cooking onions, 200 grams, chopped. A teaspoon of lemon juice, which is optional. Crushed garlic, about 20 grams. Green chilies, as per your heat preference. 2 tablespoons of chickpea flour to be used as a thickener. A teaspoon of fennel seeds and a tablespoon of coriander seeds. If you don't have coriander seeds, you could substitute it with ground coriander. I have roasted both of these on a hot pan for about 30 seconds. I have used 1 dried red chili, which is completely optional. 1 bay leaf and 1 green cardamom. So that's about all the things you need for making this recipe. So let's go and see how to make the dish. We'll start with a pot of boiling hot water in which we will blanch our spinach. So let's add the spinach into the boiling hot water. I haven't added any salt to the water. The reason we choose to blanch the spinach here is because firstly, it makes the consistency of the puree a beautiful silky flowy consistency. Secondly, the blanching makes the color of the spinach much more brighter and vibrant. We blanch our spinach for just under a minute until it loses its raw flavor. The indication would be the color of the spinach starts to just change. I add my 2 green chilies into the water. By adding the green chilies into the boiling hot water, it tends to lose some of its heat. Now time to move the blanched spinach into cold water. Here goes my spinach into cold water. Now I am not using ice cold water, I'm just using cold tap water. And what you might want to do is check the temperature of the water. As soon as it gets a bit warm, change it again to cold water, and that should still help it retain its color. Once the spinach is cold, we need to take the spinach out and squeeze the water completely out of the spinach. Now I have all my spinach ready, blanched, squeezed out of water, and I about 1/3 of the total spinach I have here, and without the chilies, and I'm going to chop it fine just to give an additional texture, an additional dimension to the dish. If you prefer not to add chopped pieces of spinach into your dish, that's fine. You can skip this step. Instead, you could just puree the whole lot and add it back, which will just make it a very smooth, silky, runny consistency. I choose to add chopped bits of spinach into it because we like it that way. The other lot of the blanched spinach which we have along with the chilies goes into a blender, and I'm going to blend it into a smooth puree along with the chilies. Here I have a frying pan with about a tablespoon of cooking oil heated. You could add, if you wanted to, ghee to it. I've just used plain cooking oil. Into my heated oil, I'm adding bay leaf. I also wanted to talk about cardamom. Now, cardamom, the flavors are enhanced if you actually crush the cardamom pods before you put it in the oil or ghee. So I'm just going to crush it. Here are my cardamom pods crushed. Some people choose to leave the skin on, and some people choose to take the skin off. And I've decided just to take the skin off and add only the pods because the flavor is better. Let the spices sizzle in the hot oil and release their flavors. Now add half of the crushed garlic into the oil. Give everything a good mix. Once the garlic is well softened, we'll add our chopped onions. And give it a good mix. Here, we do not want to caramelize the onion. We just want it to get a bit glossy and cook it down. So we can put a lid on and then let it cook. Let's check to see if our onions are glossy and cooked through. We just are looking to see that it's not raw anymore and it's just soft to the bite. Give it a good mix, and if it's not done, yeah, it's done. Create a well in the middle, some space to add our spice powders. Here I have the coriander and the fennel seeds powdered in my mortar and pestle. As you can see, quite coarsely powdered. I did dry roast them, as I mentioned before, which made it possible for me to get this lovely texture. Now I add that into the frying pan. Also adding my chickpea flour to the spice mix. Now add everything and give it a good mix along with the onions. Let the chickpea flour and the ground spices along with the onions get fried well, and make sure that the chickpea flours do not form little clumps. Just make sure you break the little clumps as they form and roast it well. By now, the aroma of the flavors should be filling your kitchen up. Now we add the chopped spinach into the onion mixture and give it all a good mix. Now add salt as per taste and give it all a good mix so the salt is well spread in the onion and spinach mixture. Let it all cook well for a few minutes. It's now time to add the spinach puree, which we made from the blanched spinach. What I have done is I have used the water in which I blanched the spinach to actually make it into a puree. Give the whole thing a good mix. and let it cook down. Now, it's worth reminding to be careful at this stage and keep the heat setting to the minimum because it will splutter, so keep a lid on. Our spinach has been cooking now for well over 3 minutes. Just be careful when you open the lid because the steam is likely to hit you. So make sure that you reduce the heat to absolutely simmering point before opening it, and when you do open it away from you so the steam doesn't hit your face and you don't get the splutters on you. Now we've got the desired consistency we're looking for. This is the preferred consistency for me. If you wanted it a bit more thicker, you could let it cook for a few more minutes, or if you wanted it more thinner, do dilute it with a bit of water. But this to me is perfect. So if you're happy with that, take it off the heat and let it rest. Heat another frying pan with a tablespoon of oil or a tablespoon of ghee and add crushed and chopped garlic and let it fry in the ghee. Now this is what is called tadka, which is the soul of Indian cuisine. Tadka is nothing but the creation of an oil which has the aromas of different spices. A tadka is added to most of the Indian dishes at the end. It just enhances the flavor of the dish. Here we also add the dried red chili broken into 2 pieces. I have added a teaspoon of turmeric to the garlic just to give some color to the garlic and make it look pretty. Now the spinach is transferred into a serving bowl, and to this we add the tadka of garlic and dried red chili. Now if you choose to add some lemon juice, do add it just before you serve. To me, complete without the lemon juice, and from a nutritional point of view too, the iron is better absorbed with some vitamin C. So there is your Lasooni Palak to be served with chapati or naan bread or paratha or roti. Hope you like it. Enjoy.